Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel, where it is fan forum night, where you can come on the channel and have your say on all things Newcastle United or all things football. The link to come on the show is in the comments right now, so if you just want to click on there and you enter the waiting room of StreamYard, I will get you on as soon as I see you. Lots to talk about tonight, obviously, with what's going on at Newcastle United. You know, the draw against Villa, the upcoming massive game that is against Brighton at the weekend. That is going to be a huge game. Will Steve Bruce actually treat this as a must-win game this time, or is he going to come out and tell the press that it's not a must-win game and we don't really care about it? It's you know, for me, Steve Bruce has come out with all the wrong words leading up to the matches before this one. Obviously, we know that he's you know, very, very, he's not the motivational type, is he? He just isn't. And he's one of these guys that'll just plod along, looking for the, Chipper says he can't see the link. It's in the comments now, mate. It's at the top, or should be. I'll put it on the comments again, and hopefully you can see it this time. I've just put it back in the comments. Let us know if you can see that. So, because it's pointless having a fan forum if you can't see the link to get on, which is a bit worrying. I'll put the link on Twitter as well. I'll just tweet that out now if you want to join the show. So that link that I'm putting on Twitter now is going to be the link to come on the show. So just in case, I don't know why it's not showing up in the comments, but never mind. We'll just wait for my Twitter to hurry up. So I've just tweeted that out now, the link to come onto the show. So hopefully we'll get some people in the waiting room shortly. We have one already, which is Mr. Chippers. Good evening, son.
Hello. Yeah, I'm all right, you?
Yeah, turn your speaker down a bit, mate, because I can't hear you very well. It's like repeating in my ear.
There you go, all done.
That's better. That's better. We've also got Johnny. Good evening, Johnny.
Oh, you all right?
How are you doing?
Yeah, all right. Yourself?
Good. Yeah, not too bad. We'll just obviously want to ask you guys what you thought about the game at the weekend before we move on to Brighton. Chippers, I gather you weren't very happy at all. It was a bit of a shocking game, really, wasn't it?
Well, I watched. Obviously, I did the watch along with you and John, and I'm glad I didn't watch it for real because I saw the highlights of it and I just thought there's no highlights. It was just completely rubbish. I thought the only highlights were you two running and that's it. There was nothing exciting.
It was shocking, to be honest. Johnny, what did you think of it?
Yeah, well, I watched the full match and I was just thinking it was just, why am I even bothering watching this? Like, it was just so bad. I don't think either team played well at all, to be fair. I think Aston Villa without Grealish could easily get relegated.
Yeah. Have we missed an opportunity here, lads? You know, we were talking about it on my show last night. You know, with Villa not playing very well, you know, it gave us the opportunity to maybe get 3 points, and yet again we completely failed. I mean, Chippers, you know, this game coming up now, you know, we were looking at these run of games, you know, from the Wolves game, West Brom, Villa, and Brighton. We were looking to get some points from there, but obviously we're now not going to get many points. So this has to be a must-win game, surely.
Yeah. Well, I said before these games, at least 8 or 9 points out of these 4 games, realistically, to like give us a fighting chance going into the last sort of 10 games, 9 games, 10 games. But again, we've come out with only 3. It's like we're 6 points short of what we should really be. Obviously, we're not exactly entitled to win games, but these were the fixtures out of the games that we've got. That were the games where we should be targeting the main points out of, and we didn't. Again, we've come out with 3 draws when really we never looked any way of winning them. Yeah.
Johnny, what do you think of Steve Bruce's comments when he comes out and says, you know, we need to keep this unbeaten streak going as if it's some sort of success for him? He's making a big deal of it, isn't he?
I think he thinks a draw is success. He doesn't go out to win games. He goes out. You think if he was given the opportunity to have 38 draws a season, he would take it. He literally comes in, tries to get a draw, and takes his paycheck and goes home.
Yeah. So where do you think we go from here then for the weekend? What sort of formation does he play, Chippers, and what sort of team selection does he make? Because I mean, there's been rumblings that Almiron may be fit. However, I don't think he's going to make it. And if he did, he would only be on the bench anyway. So, what's his options?
The thing with Bruce is, what he's like with his injury record. He might just say, he always had one of the sessions like the rest of them. He's fit. You might just throw him straight back in. And then we all know what happens there. They get a long-term injury and then they're out possibly longer than what they should be. But, it's, when a no-win situation at the minute with the injuries we've got, and, with our manager, I'll come out and make excuses out saying Brighton are a fantastic team and they've got fantastic fans and fantastic manager and they've got fantastic facilities and all this mumbo-jumbo, and it's just going to be another deja vu case, really. I mean, no matter who we play, some of them players aren't good enough, and some of the players are good enough. And it's the thing that annoys me is last week you hear the Sells and Fraser have come out and said, "Oh, I want to win games of football," and Steve Bruce has come out and saying, "Oh, they're not must-win games." Now, that seems to me that there's divide in that dressing room, that they're obviously not playing for the manager. When people might say, "Oh, well, they're not." If they want to win games, the manager isn't too worried about them winning games. When we're 2 points from the relegation place, then what are must-win games? It's like, is he expecting us to beat Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Leicester 5 of the last 10 games? Because we're not going to beat them.
It's actually frightening who we've got still to play. Johnny, do you think there's any, are the team motivated enough, do you think, to get out of the trouble we're in? Because we could start by the time we start against Brighton, we could actually be in the bottom 3. And I've said before, I don't know if I've got the confidence in the players that they've got the right fight and belief to get out of the trouble that they're in if they go into the bottom 3.
I think there's certain players in the squad who do have the fight in them to get us out of this. It's just whether Bruce will actually start them. Players like Murphy who not getting a say in. Players like Carroll, he's from Newcastle. He doesn't want us to go down. He's not. He's getting a minute of time to come on, 30 seconds here and there. You've got players like Gale, who I wanted him to get a chance. He came on, he started, and he played terrible. He was nowhere near as good.
I mean, it was like he didn't learn his lesson, did he, with Dwight Gale? He started him on the right against Chelsea. He didn't have an impact in the game. He then starts on the left against Villa, and he still doesn't have an impact. I'm not sure that Gale is the right man to get us out of the trouble. Chippers, sorry?
I was just going to say, I think the problem with Gale is because his contract's up in the summer, he knows he's not going to be staying with us unless we're relegated. And you'll be looking at a Championship club knowing that you'll easily just go to some Championship club looking for promotion next season.
Yeah. Chippers, do you think Carroll should start on against Brighton?
Well, I think he should be getting more than 30 seconds or 3 minutes, put it that way. I think, I just think with Gale, I think Gale's gone. I think he's in the mindset of, I've only got 9 games left. Yeah, I'll be away. And, Steve Bruce is just playing him on the wing just to piss him off a bit more and say, well, look, fans, I've played Dwight Gale. I've done what you keep saying to do, and he's not delivered. So don't blame me, blame yourselves. And we've got now to lose by playing Carroll up front because, him and Joe Linton, we know they're not good enough. I mean, John last night on your show saying he's a very good shooter and all that. I thought, what was he talking about?
No, I don't know where John got that from. I think he's been smoking something funny after work because he actually came out and said he's a good finisher. But I think everybody else put him right, bless him. He just he lost the plot a bit for a few seconds. But he tends to lose the plot when people talk about, Joe Linton. He tends to get all funny inside. Martin says, according to The Athletic, Newcastle United are admirers as Chris Wilder and almost made a move for the former Sheffield United boss before Steve Bruce got the job. Is it really going to happen? Johnny, obviously Chris Wilder, this was mentioned on the show last night, and he's not my guy to come in and save us. Maybe if we went down and we changed manager, then, Chris Wilder to build us up again and come back, I would perfectly be happy with that. If we don't have a takeover, I think Wilder would be a very, very strong candidate to bring Newcastle back. But for these last few games, if we did get rid of Bruce, if we lose at the weekend, it gives the new manager 2 weeks to, with the international break, to get the team going in his direction and telling them what he wants from the team. who do you think would be a man to actually restore that kind of confidence in the dressing room? Would it be Jones, or would you bring somebody fresh in and try and give it that new manager kick for the last few games?
I think I agree with you about Chris Wilder. I think if we go down, or even if we can't get a good manager in the summer, I think he would be a good one bringing to have a full season, full pre-season. I don't think it's someone you bring in to boost the team up to get them going again.
Yeah.
Just because what happened with Sheffield United this season, I don't know if his mindset's going to be in the right place. But you've got, I think Jones looks like he's going to be a good manager in the future. I'm not sure about right now. That's the only problem with his past record in the Championship and stuff, Luton. But then I think my choice, if we could get him, would be Eddie Howe, just because of the type of football he played at Bournemouth. He's saying that he's looking for jobs in the Premier League recently as well.
Do you think Eddie Howe would come up here though, Johnny? Because there has been talk that he doesn't want to move too far north. But would he actually come and work under Mike Ashley as well? I mean, we've got to come to the conclusion now that the takeover, whatever is going on behind the scenes, is going to take a long, long time to go through. It's not going to be a click of the fingers and we're done. I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than what people are actually saying. However, with the likes of the managers out there, they're going to talk to each other. They're going to talk to people that have been involved in Newcastle United in the past. And, are they going to come under Ashley?
I think the problem with Eddie Howe, I think he could come to us just because he sees he's interested in the Celtic job. And I think that would be a harder job than it is at Newcastle at the minute, just because how far behind they fell behind Rangers over the last few seasons. And the prestige of the level and the money that you'd get paid, even if he got paid the same as Bruce, would probably be more than what a Celtic manager gets paid. And
definitely.
If he did do a good job with us under Mike Ashley, that would boost his career like a lot of managers have done when they went to Southampton and stuff like that. A few like Coleman now, who's now Barcelona manager, when he was manager at Southampton, they're not exactly a team that spend loads of money. Yet his career got boosted by doing a good job at a team with a low budget.
Yeah, very true. Guys, if you want to come on the show, the link is in the comments. Just click on the link and enter the studio. And when you come in, I'll be able to see you on the bottom in the waiting room. So if you want to come on and have your say, there's nobody else waiting at the minute, so you'll get on quite quick. Chippers, I'll ask you the same question really about the manager. Eddie Howe has been mentioned by a lot of people, and certainly I wouldn't mind Eddie Howe coming in. But if we're going to go for a manager between now and the end of the season, who would you give it to? Who do you think is going to be the man that could really boost this team and give them the motivation that they need?
To be honest, I don't know if anyone can because of the time scale we've got. If you look at when Shearer and Rafa both came in, we didn't survive. I know we were in the bottom three then when they came in, but we still didn't stay up. We've left it far too late yet again. 10 games isn't enough for a manager. 10 games ago is when we should have got rid of Bruce to give a manager time to implement his style and systems into the players and into the team and get them up to some sort of level fitness wise, because I don't think they're fit at all under Bruce. Because I can't say if a manager comes in and they're training daily or sort of 2 times a day up until the end of the season, they're just going to get more injuries. And I can't see anyone wanting to come here either, with the club in so much limbo at the minute. I can't see anyone wanting to come here until at least they know who the owner's going to guaranteedly be and what division we're going to be in. So as much as I want Boots out, I just think it's too late now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a good point, and it's a point that a lot of people are saying, has he waited too long again? Kobe says there, Callum Wilson did say that he's aiming to get back for a mysterious game. When will that be? We're unsure. Hopefully it'll be Spurs. I think that's what he's aiming for, the Spurs game. I think after the international break, and give him a chance to, have that extra 2 weeks of no games going on, and hopefully, but it's a case, Johnny, of we don't want to bring these guys back too quickly. We've seen it happen many times this season already, where Bruce has just thrown them back in, and it hasn't worked. He's tried to be very cautious with Saint-Maximin. That hasn't worked again. Do you think, obviously, with this 3 days training that he does, it's not really giving the players time enough to be fit, or is it behind the scenes, the training facilities aren't good enough, the recovery periods are taking longer, or the players aren't getting fit like they should be? I mean, what do you think's the problem?
I think if you look at Bruce's record of injuries, even at other clubs, it's been quite bad. You've had Aston Villa fans who I know have been saying how bad their injuries and stuff were under Steve Bruce as well. I think if you look at Rafa's record, I don't like to compare them. Obviously, it's an old manager, but his injury record when he was at Newcastle, I know it's quite a few different players, but the injury record was never as bad as what it is now. And then if you go back to Steve McLaren when he was in charge, the injury record was really bad then as well. I don't know what these older English managers seem to be doing in the training. They seem to be ruining people's careers with injuries. Seems really bad at the minute. I know the training ground obviously is really bad as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got non-league training facilities. We've got Danny joining us. Danny, can you hear us? Got his mic off at the minute. Are you there, Danny?
Yes.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
I'm good, yeah.
Good. Just to get your feelings, what was your feelings against Villa? Did you think we were unlucky not to win, or we deserved to lose, or are we in big trouble?
Well, I thought Jolan did. I'm not the Jolan biggest fan, but I thought he did well. He's finishing. We all know he's finishing, and he's not a 40 million player. We all know that. If we signed at 5 million, I think we would have been lots of different feelings about him. But I thought we definitely didn't play. We went out to draw before the game. I saw the lineup. We went out to draw. Why did you have a Gale as a striker and you have Fraser the winger? Why play the striker the winger and the winger the striker? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a good point. And Chippers, I mean, if why start Dwight Gale on the left if he's the only striker on the pitch? Why play him left? I mean, people have come at me saying, well, he did it with Wilson. He put Wilson on the right hand side, but we had Miggy through the middle then, who is a proper number 10. And for Wilson, he's got the pace and he knows where to be in the box when the crosses are coming in. So there is a difference. And Fraser certainly isn't a number 10. He's hardly played there in his life. So why do we start the only striker that he puts on the pitch as a left winger?
Well, it sums him up, doesn't it? We all know he should be playing centre forward, but why he puts him on the wing, we don't know, and he doesn't explain his reasons why he doesn't give him. No one asks him the question. Like, that's the annoying thing as well. The press don't ask him the question, like, why are you playing a striker on the wing? Like, he needs to be asked these questions, why he's doing it. But yet again, he's getting away with it. He's getting an easy ride off the media, and I don't know. Yeah. I think it's just to get Gale out the door. That's all I think to say. Well, which is strange because in December he was crying on to give him a new contract because he was saying he was the best thing since sliced bread. But now I think that's because Gale doesn't want to be here, and I think it's just where Gale play where I'm telling you, and I'm the manager, and that's it.
Johnny Lee asked a question there, which is very interesting. Was it surprising that Murphy created the joint most chances against Villa? I think Murphy's been one of our most underrated players this season, simply because every time he's been asked to do a job, he's done it, whether it be at right back, right wing back, right wing. He always seems to put the dangerous crosses in. He always has efforts on goal. And yes, he might not always hit the target, but he still goes and tries next time. He deserves a start, doesn't he?
I think he deserves a start. He's another person who's actually from Newcastle as well, who has that desire to play for the club. And obviously, I wasn't surprised at all. I do think he's one of without our best three players, he is our most creative player, really. We've got John Joe Shelby, who last season was a top goal scorer, but I don't know what happened this season. He should be up there with the most creative player, especially playing a full match. I don't know what you think of him, but I think he's the worst player we've got at the minute in the starting 11.
Who was that you said there, sorry?
John Joe Shelby at the minute. The last game, I think he was the worst player on the pitch. I don't think he should be anywhere near it. I would rather have the two Longstaffs on. I think you said a few videos ago when you were saying how you want Longstaff playing as like a number 10. Sean, that's where he played best when he was playing under Rafa.
Yeah. Totally agree. I think that the problem is with Shelby, this is the problem we've had with Shelby for a long time now, is the fact that he plays a couple of good games and then he just goes off and then goes into his lazy head attitude again. Kobe, are you still there?
Yeah, I wonder why you called me Danny before, yeah.
It came up Daryl on the screen and then it changed to Kobe, so I don't know what the hell's going on there.
I know.
What's your thoughts on Shelby, Kobe? Because the fans seem to be a bit sort of 50-50 with him. Some fans are saying stick at him. We need a player like him in the team who can unlock the door. But when he's in that kind of attitude that he was against Villa, he's useless to us, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think he definitely has the potential to be at the top, not the top level, but a very good lower league player with his passing style and everything like that. And it's obviously his set piece. But I think his set piece don't really matter. We've got Ryan Fraser, and I think for direct free kicks, Murphy can be decent at direct free kicks, and well, Shelby hasn't. But I think if you're not going to play Matty Longstaff, I know you got Sean Longstaff, I do like Sean Longstaff. He's a Geordie. He'll work hard. He will work hard for the team, but he hasn't been performed when the last time we played him. But I would much prefer to see Matty Longstaff, but we don't have that attack. If we're going to play Hayden, Willock be a powerhouse to be marking around, getting forward, getting back. Hayden will be one just sitting back, doing the tackle. And then Shelby, we need someone to get the on. But even if he's not on a game, he has the potential to be there. However, I would prefer to see Matty Longstaff there. Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only reason I'm saying for Sean Longstaff to play in a number 10 role is I just think, that Bournemouth game away last season just proved a lot to me that he is more of an attacking midfielder, and he created a lot more opportunities in the brief time that he was on the pitch than what our whole team's done this season. And, whether, you say Matty's out of form, Sean's out of form, he is, but I don't think he's being utilised in the right way. Steve Bruce putting square pegs in round holes all the time. It doesn't suit a lot of our players. Chippers, before you go, because we've got Ryan coming on next, what do you think will happen at Brighton? Are we going to go down there and actually try and get 3 points, or do you think Steve Bruce will sit back and just put a team out that's not to lose again? Because if he does that, for me, we're in big trouble. I would rather see Steve Bruce say, right, we're going down there and we're going down there to win.
You know what's going to happen. He's going to say, well, like I said before, he's going to big them all up, and he'll go down there and play for a draw. He'll not go there to win. He'll just play there to draw, unfortunately. And we're either going to get a lucky draw or Brighton will win 1 or 2-0, because I can't. If Lascelles isn't scoring at the minute, there's nobody scoring. I can't say who's scoring, unfortunately, which is the problem. Yet again, I can't say who's scoring.
Yeah. And just before you head off, just Paul's mentioning there, Maxi's back in the UK and isolating for 10 days. What did you think about his little soiree to France? I mean, the club have come out now and said that he's, it was all organised. Well, they've told Craig Hope that it was all organised. But before that, it was a case of nobody knew where Maxi was until he'd told them he was in France. The whole thing just stinks to me.
Yeah, I don't think it's all planned. I think, again, he's just went and thought, I'm bigger than the club and I'll go and do this. And, the club have got to come out and try and dampen the player out, haven't they, really? And I think, again, I think it's just players pretending to be bigger than the club, really. And I think the club, again, have just bowed to him instead of fining him. I mean, this is where I feel a bit for Joe Linton, because he got a haircut and he got, was it a big fine for it? So why isn't somebody who's left the country getting a fine when we can't leave the country, And that's the second time he's done it. So. Yeah,
it is. I just think all's not well with the SM. I felt that way for a long time. But anyway, Chippers, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure as usual. Keep your comments clean on this show, mate. All right. Take care, my man. See you later. So that was Chippers, and we got Ryan from Canada coming on. Good evening, Ryan.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Personally, I'm really good. For Newcastle, not the best.
Yeah, it isn't. Johnny, I just want your opinion on the Saint-Maximin situation. I mean, there was loads of reports yesterday came out that he'd gone to France, and nobody at the club knew he'd gone back to France. Then something comes out saying, well, it was to get some sort of medical advice, which I don't really believe for a second, because come on, he's got a muscle injury, and realistically, there's people over here that can sort of deal with that. Do you think it's more sort of keeping the fans in the dark from the club?
I think it's the second time it's happened, because when he was out with COVID, it was the same, wasn't it? When he mysteriously went to France. I don't know, maybe he's going to visit family. The club are just trying to keep him happy, making sure that if we do stay up in the summer, he doesn't want to leave. Maybe something like that. I think this might be something between him and Bruce. Because there was a bit ago when apparently him and Bruce had a fallen out, and then he had COVID and he was out for 2-3 months. I don't know. Maybe if it is true that they're going to see a specialist, because it is a recurring injury with his muscles, what seems to be happening, I wouldn't I wouldn't complain, but it does seem a bit fishy that it's the second time.
Matthew, I'm not even gonna respond to that comment, mate. You tried to trick me a few times, and it's not happening. I'm wising up to your little comments now. Well, thank you, Kobe. What do you think of Saint-Maximin? I mean, is he letting the club down? Is he causing problems in the dressing room? Do you think? I mean, we've had this with French players before, and for all he's a fantastic footballer, maybe his attitude isn't right at the minute.
Yes, I think he does like the fans. I think that's the one thing he can guarantee he likes the fans. And when Jetro was here, they got along a very good partnership. However, I think if we do get relegated, he'd definitely go. But I do think in the dressing room, I think he's getting along with the fans, with the players. I think the players got a small little thing from I don't quite like, but I think they're getting along. But if he does go, are we going to sign someone of that caliber who's pace? I know Ismail Assar for Watford, he's in the Championship. We could sign him. And I know he was like 30 million, but 60 million on him would be making at least. I think it would be making at least double the profit on him. So I think that'll be a nice profit for Mike Ashley. But however, we all know it won't go back to Newcastle and transfer it again.
Good point, Ryan. I mean, I want to know what you thought of the Villa game, because obviously we haven't spoke since the Villa game. So I'm just wondering what you think, what your thoughts are on that, and also Saint-Maximin, because personally, I don't think he's going to be at the club next season.
For the Villa game, my opinion is I think we dropped 2 points, because I thought Villa were pretty bad that game, and Bruce always bigs up teams, and we never seen the amount of teams we come up against that are they're really good teams, but they perform poorly against us, and we don't take advantage of that. To me, that was down to his dumb tactics, playing Dwight Gale in left wing and Ryan Fraser as a striker. I mean, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's so clueless. And I swear I saw Isaac Hayden on left wing sometimes too, trying to make overlapping runs. He's a DM. And for the Saint-Maximin situation, I feel like if he'd only stay if we have a takeover or new ownership or something, because I feel like he likes us as fans in the club, but he just hates how it's run, how we got a yes man in charge and we got an owner that doesn't care, who's been trying to sell up. So yeah, fair enough. Johnny, before you go, because we've got another one coming on. First of all, who do you think was the mole at the training ground? And second question before you go is obviously a prediction for the Brighton game and what sort of lineup we're going to play. But first, who's the mole?
I couldn't tell you who the mole is, to be honest. Maybe Graham Jones trying to get the BG out, trying to save the club, get Bruce out. That's the best guess I could give. Or maybe all the long staffs who he's fallen out with. If it's not Steve Bruce himself, trying to make himself look like a victim that all people are turning against him and stuff, which wouldn't surprise us. It's got to be someone who he's fallen out with. One of the long staffs, Graham Jones. Probably one of them if it's not him, to be honest.
I mean, the long staffs are getting mentioned a lot. How about the weekend then? What formation would you go for, Johnny, and what do you think the score will be?
I think the score will be, I think it could be a 1-1, a 0-0, 1-1.
Yeah.
I want to be positive and see that we'll go out there and win, but I can't lie to myself.
I know it's a shame, isn't it? Really, that we cannot predict Newcastle to win a game, but it's where the goals are going to come from is the problem. Yeah.
If I was in charge and I was choosing the formation for that game, I would probably play 4-2-3, 4-3-3. Sorry, 4-3-3 with Murphy and Fraser on the wings, with Carroll up front. Get two people who can cross the ball in. Have them two swapping wings at times, maybe. Just someone who can get the ball in the box, Carroll to head in. Because I see that quite a lot of the players defensively we've played against have struggled against Joe Linton's physicality. Imagine Carroll's.
Exactly.
That's our best attacking lineup now, and Bruce refuses to play Jacob Murphy for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't think Bruce has confidence. I noticed that he only just started playing more attacking as soon as Almiron and Saint-Maximin came, during the Christmas period when he was playing 5 at the back, he could have easily been playing Murphy and maybe Ryan Fraser. I don't know if he was like really fit at that time, but like even like Joe Linton, like.
Well, it's just one of them things. Johnny, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure, mate. Obviously, I'm doing another. It's every Tuesday night now in Fan Forum, so you're welcome to come on again next week, buddy.
All right, cheers, mate. Thanks,
mate. See you later. So that was Johnny there. Guys, the link, I'm just going to post it out again in the comments. If you want to join the show, the link's on there quite a few times now. So if you want to come on and chat all things Newcastle or football or anything like that, you're very welcome to. Next guest is one of the horsemen, Mr. Proudlock. Good evening.
How you doing, man? You're finally calmed down after that when you seen that photo yesterday?
Not really. I mean, God, it was a bit. I don't know. I really don't. Richard says Leeds to do a double over Fulham and end our hoodoo. Rafinha to score. That would be very, very nice if Leeds do us a favour on Friday night. Corby, can you see Leeds turning Fulham over, or do you think it's going to be? One of them matches where it's typical luck for Newcastle, where Fulham go out and actually perform and beat Leeds.
Well, I think Bamford might be out. He came off injured on the weekend. However, I do like Rafinha. I think he's a very good quality player. How you look at Bamford, he can't finish, and Fulham, very good defender. They've got two, Halkimans and Tolson Adebayo, who play for Manchester City. And I think they're two very good centre halves. And they've got a great goalkeeper. They're good, and they're not. Leeds are an attacking team too, and it's going to be hard for Fulham to get a goal because they're not good attack. They're not good strikers, but when Leeds don't have very good defenders either. So I think if Leeds theoretically should win, but I think that I think the big game is for weekend. I think if we lose that game, we go and so let's say Fulham win and Leeds win, we go 1 point below Fulham, which I think Fulham's up anyway. I don't think Fulham's down. And 4 points up from Brighton. And I think we won't win the next few games. Fulham's got a good few fixtures after Leeds, but it's gonna be hard. However, though, we could be a good bit because they've got. I know when we've got a game in hand over them in the FA Cup week when City and Spurs play in the final. They've got a blank week that week. We could maybe get a few points, but I think Fulham's over it. Fulham go down, very surprising. I think it's Brighton, and I think they've got some Lewis Dunk, very good centre half, and I think it's gonna be on our to get our main men back because I think you could tell this from the Armour, no pressing. I remember that game against Southampton, we just kept pressing with ASM and Armour. Now we just get no pressing at all, no pace. I know Murphy's got a bit of pace on him, and I think if you're going to start Murphy, you're going to start Fraser, start Carroll. If you're not going to start, if you're going to play Gale, let's 5'4" on the left, 5'7" up front, and a 5'8" on the right. You're not got no target man, and against tall Brighton, so you got Dan Burn, who's like 6'5", another 2 centre 6'3". You're gonna need someone who can challenge them, who can get a knock on for one of the two wingers. And Murphy is a lot better crosser than Joe Linton. However, Joe Linton could be an impact sub if he would need that physicality. And then he could play along up or from a Carroll, bit of pace with him, whilst Carroll could get a knock in or something like that.
I mean, Peter, this is the thing, and Ryan as well, really. I mean, Brighton have some huge defenders. You look at the centre-backs, I actually think that, their left-back, Dan Burner, is about 6'6", which is huge for a left-back. Peter, first of all, the free kicks, the corners, etc., the set pieces are going to be massively important for us to defend. But Brighton are, despite the results, I mean, yes, obviously they beat Southampton, but despite the results, Brighton have always played good football this season, and we haven't. And, looking at Brighton, you have to worry that they're just going to pass around us.
Yeah, that is the thing. I mean, as you mentioned, they are a decent side. Okay, they're probably not as high as what they are. I think results, they've managed to slip into some results, but yeah, that is the worry. It really is the worry that Brighton are going to have that threat. And they'll be full of confidence after the Southampton win as well. So,
Yeah,
It's
really it would have
recent.
took massive, confidence from that win against Southampton. Ryan, what do you think of Brighton? I mean, where are we going to have to be switched on? I mean, I think when you talk about Newcastle, we need to be switched on from every position on the pitch. But with the size difference, really, they've got above us in their sort of central defenders, their left back. It's going to be worrying set pieces as well, given how we've defended in the past.
Well, exactly. That's why I feel like Andy Carroll needs to start to actually kind of counter what they have in defense in their giant center backs. I think playing someone like Dwight Gale would be a mistake. It just wouldn't work. And I fear for this game because Fulham play on Friday as well. And if they win, we're in the relegation. Brighton beat us, we're screwed. And we have the international break, and I feel like that'll be curtains for Steve Bruce if he loses that. Because I feel like Mike Ashley will finally pull the trigger on him. And yeah.
I mean, I've said for a while that the international break is possibly our opportunity, or Mike Ashley's opportunity to get rid of Steve Bruce and finally, get somebody in who's going to give these players a kick up the arse to try and get them out of the relegation zone. But Peter, you're getting some flack on the comments. People saying you're the mole. You're starting to pick up a nickname of Proudlock the Mole, which is I don't know where that's come from. Kobe, just before you go, because we got somebody else waiting. What do you think is going to be the score at the weekend, and what formation does Steve Bruce put out to win the game? Now, I know we've spoke about Steve Bruce maybe putting a team out not to lose, but if you were the manager, what formation would you go for to try and get the 3 points at Brighton?
Well, I don't really want to put myself in Steve Bruce's head because who knows what's in there. But
good point.
Yeah, but I'll definitely play Fraser, Carroll, and Murfield up front. For front three, keep the same back four, and goalkeeper. I think Dummett played really well. I thought he was actually better going forward than Lewis too. And then I'll probably play Isaac Hayden. What he needs to do is shape up his yellow cards forward because he's getting some silly ones. Joe Willock, and I probably would keep John Joe Shelby because I think you're going to have to play long bolts over the Brighton defenders. So I think that's what you do, and I'll probably go for a 2-1 win. I'll go for 2-1 win. Good
lad. Positivity is what we need at the minute. Right, Kobe, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Like I say, you're welcome to come on again next Tuesday, and we'll have a chat about the Brighton game. And in the meantime, have a good week, mate, and take care.
Yeah, and before I go, I sent you a DM on Twitter last night.
Have you? Right, I'll check that out. I haven't seen many of my Twitter messages today, so I'll check that out after the show, mate, and I'll be back in touch with you.
Okay, right.
All right, take care, Kobe.
See you later.
Bye. So that was Kobe there. We've got Billy coming in. Good evening, Billy.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
How are you? Yes, I can hear you. Yeah,
I'm good, mate.
Right, just what did you think of the Villa game first of all?
Well, I think points we did all right. Points we did bad. We got very lucky to get that late goal. It's just like, personally, I think Bruce. It's crazy how he's still in the job. Personally, I don't know how he is.
Do you think if fans were in the ground, he would still be there, or do you think if the fans were in, he would have been gone a long time ago?
Nah, his head would be on a stake by now if the fans were in. Like, nah.
Yeah. Ryan, do you think if the fans are in the ground, I mean, I think we spoke about this before, but I think if fans were in that ground, it'd been impossible for him to continue, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. As soon as there's fans back in, he's going to be the one manager shitting himself. He's not going to be looking forward to fans, like, not just throwing cabbages, but just abusing the hell out of him to get the hell out of the club. And like I said, they're going to have to hire extra stewards because people are going to be coming for his face that day against Sheffield.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about it last night, Peter, that, if fans, they're talking about moving the fixture so that fans have got a chance to see the club before the end of the season. So, the last home game for us is obviously the second off last game of the season. Therefore, they'll try and move that game to get the fans in the ground. I don't think they'll have any fans near the dugout.
No, I mean, you can imagine You'd imagine it wouldn't surprise me if fans tried to climb over the seats just to try and get right up close to him?
Nah, yeah, he's gonna.
Oh, I mean, when we're back and Steve Bruce is saying he's going to be really, really worried.
If I'm going to be honest, I'll be surprised if we see her by the last game of the season. Like,
yeah,
that's what I said. Like, if we're in relegation by the time the Brighton game comes and we lose that, he's done for me. Well, he's been done forever, but I mean, you got to close the curtains eventually on him.
Yeah, I mean, Billy, what do you think? Do you think he's? We've often spoke. I don't know whether you've seen, you know, a lot of my shows, but you know, do you think that he is the most hated manager that has ever been in Newcastle?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I think the only thing he is good at is getting teams relegated.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, like, I know people have been using their excuses, all this, all that, but I think the fight with Matt Ritchie was insane because, you know, you shouldn't be fighting with your own players. Yeah, he's going to have arguments, but he's the manager, you know.
Yeah, like I think it's the way it was reported, isn't it, that he barged into Matt Ritchie, and any normal working life environment that you're in, if you did that to a fellow employee, you'd be out the door. So it's, you know, it's fate. Chris says, my honest thought is if Brighton beat you, I'm afraid it's the end of Premier League football for a few years. Praying I'm wrong. Better luck, Geordies. Marching on together. Chris, thank you very much. I know it's you know, Leeds fans, I've said this many times before, Leeds fans know exactly the situation we're in and the trouble that we could be in if we go down. Peter, I mean, are you worried that we could actually become another Sunderland, another Leeds, another Sheffield Wednesday? You know, is it possible?
Well, you do have that worry. I mean, all I can say is don't rule it out. Don't rule it out. If we go down and Steve Bruce is still here, there's no chance we'll be getting up. You could be looking playoff at best, or you could be looking round about mid-table or in the bottom half somewhere. Because I'm pretty sure he was down there. I think it was Sheffield Wednesday one time, and I think he almost could have got Villa relegated.
I mean, the thing that gets me about Steve Bruce is, you know, he goes on about being a Newcastle United fan. But, you know, if you look at his previous clubs, he's managed the two biggest clubs in Birmingham. He's managed the two Sheffield clubs. He's managed the two Northeast clubs. There is no loyalty in this man. Clearly, you know, you don't support Newcastle United, and then you know you manage Sunderland. And when he was manager of Sunderland, he made some derogatory comments about Newcastle United. We know he did. You don't do that as a fan, so it really curdles my blood. Matthew says, "Remember when Mike Ashley said he isn't going anywhere until we win something, and we won the championship title in 2017, and he's still here 4 years after that happened." Ryan, I'll ask you, Billy, I'll come on to you in a minute. Ryan, if we go down, or who would you have in? If Steve Bruce is sacked at the weekend, who would you bring in as a temporary just to give us the kick up the arse and maybe that new manager bounce to save us in the Premier League? But if we go down, who would you bring in? Who would be the manager that you'd be looking at saying, right, I definitely think that manager can get us back out of the championship again?
I think temporary, I'd keep Graham Jones on, to be honest.
Right.
I was in the boats of wanting Nigel Pearson, but I saw he went to Bristol City.
Yeah, look at the job he's done there already. He's turned them around.
If we get relegated, I'd probably want someone like Thomas Frank as manager.
Mm-hmm. Would a manager like Thomas Frank, would he come to work under Ashley? I think maybe Thomas Frank actually would. But it's
that's the thing. Like, we have such a limited list of, like, you know, as a fan base, we'd bring up managers and be like, oh, but why would you want to work with Mike Ashley? Like, that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
We're lucky at the time in the championship that, like, Ashley's ambition was still to be in the Premier League. So he backed Rafa specifically, gave him his new contract, gave him the players he wanted, and we're out of there. But I think if we go down, we stay with Steve Bruce, which I feel like Mike Ashley's plan was to hire him in the first place in case we get relegated. I just don't think, like, we hate him enough already. Why would we want him in the championship anyways if he's proven?
Very good point. Billy, I'll ask you the same. If Steve Bruce loses this game on Saturday and for some miraculous miracle, Mike Ashley does pull the trigger on him, who would you look at to give us that new manager bounce to get us safe? And who would you bring in next season?
Well, I believe like the rest of the season, we should keep Graham Jones as the like manager for now, and then next season look to get like someone like Eddie Howen or something, because I know there's been reports of apparently like asking Rafa and all this, but I don't think Rafa would come back.
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, it's worrying for every single Newcastle fan at the moment because, like everything at this club, we are just kept in the dark. You know, I mean, the Matt Ritchie thing came out because, you know, of a reported mole in the club and somebody tried to make a fast buck. But personally, I'm pretty happy that it came out. I think that we as fans needed to know. Alan says a 10. Yeah, go on.
Oh, if there's one thing that this club to happen, I want player power to take over just so that this fucking clown can get out of our club too. And also as well, when Steve McLaren, when he got sacked, what position were we in and how far were we away from safety when he got sacked?
You know, when he was in charge, his last game was Bournemouth, and I think we were actually second bottom, so we were 19th.
Yeah, we got spanked off Bournemouth because Matt Ritchie ran us ragged
so
in that game.
Mike Ashley will pull the trigger at that point, but he won't pull the trigger when we're 2 points above relegation and possibly in the relegation come the Brighton game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're playing worse football than we are under McLaren. No idea, no structure, nothing.
But I think that like it's just ridiculous because we finished 14th in the last 2 seasons, and Steve Bruce is saying how he did similar to Rafa, but last season he was a new manager, and Rafa didn't have the money and support that Steve Bruce did.
Yeah, and the 2018-19 season too, like Rafa actually had a foundation of how he played, and if you actually backed him, we were probably going to be going up the table. But as his last year of his contract, like the 4-3-3 was working for us, and then it just disappeared because he left it. His contract was up and left the club, and we've had Steve Bruce for a year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan here puts in a point. We have to show everybody's points. Hi, lads. Try and be positive about Steve Bruce and get behind the team instead of slagging Steve Bruce off. Jonathan, you're entitled to your opinion, right? I'll say that now. You can, by all means. But this isn't a case of just being on here just to slag Steve Bruce off. This has been 19 months of torment under Steve Bruce. Yes, we know that it's Mike Ashley that is to blame. He is the head honcho. And, you know, we are in this mess because of Mike Ashley and the decisions he's made in the past. But at the moment, Steve Bruce is the manager, and Steve Bruce is not doing a good enough job. His team selection is wrong. His tactics are wrong. He cannot change a game. During a game, he has no idea how to change the tactics, formations, or the way we play. Nothing like that. The man is completely inept. So, you know, I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, Steve Bruce has done really well here, done really well there, because he hasn't. I'm not going to come onto YouTube on a live show and talk a load of rubbish. I'm not going to say Steve Bruce has done well, because he hasn't. He is, for me, the worst manager we have ever had at the club. And I am not going to come on here and give him false praise when it's not due. Now, I will give people praise if they play well or make good decisions. I praised Joe Linton's performance on Friday night. I gave him man of the match for the first time in my life. I gave him an 8 out of 10 in my player ratings. You know, so I will praise when praise is due. However, Steve Bruce has done nothing but slag my club off since he's been here. He's slagged the supporters off, which I think is an absolute disgrace. So in what way do we speak positively about Steve Bruce? Peter?
Well, there's no positivity. You've just mentioned there, Paul. The tactics, shit. Decision-making, shit. Team selection, wrong at times. And arrogance in press conferences. Feels like, I shouldn't take any criticism out of any football match. What a load of bollocks.
I absolutely agree with you guys.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's.
I mean, don't get us wrong. You know, he's perfectly entitled to his opinion, but there is no positives that I can think of for Steve Bruce. Because he's come out and slagged the fans off, he slags his own players off, he throws everyone under the bus, he takes no responsibility for anything he does on the football pitch. The decisions, the substitutions, it's always somebody else's fault. Now, had he come forward and said, yes, I take the blame for that, that was my decision, and I'll be 100% take the blame for that. He doesn't ever do that. Now, even you got Fergie coming out and doing that sometimes. Wenger, Mourinho, the really top bosses, Pep Guardiola, they all take some of the blame when things go wrong. This man has not done it once. Billy, your thoughts on Steve Bruce and that comment from Jonathan?
Yeah, I think Steve Bruce just speaks a load of shit, really. I think everyone would, even if, say, Newcastle are playing bad, but if he put responsibility and said, look, we got the tactics wrong, all this lot, and apologised and, didn't just blame everyone else, everyone wouldn't want his head. He's, for me, I don't know how he's still on the job, but I think if we lose against Brighton, that has to be the last straw. Well, he's already, I think, went over that, but...
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, your reaction to that comment from Jonathan about Steve Bruce?
I'll just echo what Peter said. So obviously the shit tactics, shit team selection. The guy has a fight with one of our players. As soon as that happens, you have to be gone. You're arrogant to the media, all this kind of stuff. And the only time I've given Steve Bruce credit, I think, was during Project Restart when he changed formation and we went on a bit of a run of winning games and playing good stuff. But ever since, he's been stubborn. And we're just all this. I haven't, to be honest, since we got smashed by Leicester, I was like, that game 5-0 at the King Power, I lost faith in him, to be honest. Because, I knew, the results prior to that were all, lucky, 1-0s against, Chelsea, Man United, last minute. In the moment, it was great, but reflecting on it now, it was just awful games, and just a clueless idea and a brain dead approach to every game and a loser mentality, which shouldn't be at this club.
Yeah, I think the game against Wolves, if you've seen the end of the game, the players just looked clueless. They didn't know what they were doing, which was just, it's insane.
There's one game too, I think, during Christmas where I think we lost 1-0, and it was an away game, I think, against Southampton or something, where the players looked like they lost a final. I remember Jamal Lewis was on the floor.
Yeah,
that's how dead our team is.
It's got to come down to fitness and things like that as well. And Richard comes out with a point there. The mushroom troop kept in the dark and fed on shite, which is exactly what Newcastle fans have. It's been the case for a long time. Guys, if you do want to come on the show, we've got about half an hour left. The link to come on the show is in the comments, so just click on there. You'll come into the waiting room and I'll see you. So if you do want to come on in the last half an hour, now is your chance. But we'll continue on anyway. Just I'll be able to see you if you do come on. Chris has said, Jonathan, where have you been for the past God knows how long? Get a grip, man, and see the pout for what he is, a failure. And that's from a Leeds United fan. So that really says it all. Kenneth, good evening to you. Mike Ashley will have to sack Bruce whether we stay up or not, as there will be 22,000 crowds at best if he stays, especially in the Championship. That's another thing that Mike Ashley has to think of, Peter, is the fact that he's not going to get 52,000 in that ground. If we go down this time, it's not going to be like last time where, nobody would be able to tell that Newcastle were a Championship club last time under Rafa because the ground was full week in, week out. It ain't going to be like that this time around.
No, I mean, you'll have more fans wanting to stay away, not because of Mike Ashley, but he will probably want to go and watch a dinosaur drab football, what Steve Bruce provides us if he stays with us. You can tell the fans are sick up with it now. And that's why they just want change now. I think it feels like they want change more of management. I think the hate this season has gone more to Bruce now than it has to Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Billy, do you agree with that? Because I do think that the hatred for Steve Bruce is more than I've ever known. And I've supported the lad since, 1980s, since I started going. I've never known such hatred towards a manager.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just also like I think Mike Ashley needs to look at options of sacking him because we go down to the Championship. Will many managers want to come to Newcastle? Because we're not going to be a Premier League team, and will people want to come to Newcastle and pay 300 million for a takeover? So you can't really expect 300 million for a team that's struggling to stay in the Premier League.
I mean, Chris Wilder's out there, all right? If we go down to the Championship, then Chris Wilder would be a man that I'd be happy to see come in and manage the club under Mike Ashley, because I think Chris Wilder would give it his best shot. He's certainly going to take no shit from the players, and he's going to take no... knocking from anybody. He'll do it his way and his way only. But it's a case of, can we attract a top name manager that is going to get us back out the Championship? The worry is that we are going to turn around and we're going to be left with Steve Bruce again. Peter, just before you go, we've got a couple of others coming on. So what formation, I'll ask you the same question, really. What formation would you go for on Saturday, and what will the result be?
I want to see the 4-2-3-1 formation. I've said it time and time again. This is the formation we should be looking to use. We've certainly got the players to do it. Why not go for it?
Yeah, I agree. So give us a score.
I said 2-2.
2-2. Right. Well, thanks very much, Peter. Please go and check Peter's channel out, PD Proudlock on YouTube. He does previews, reviews, quick thoughts, vlogs when he can get outside, and he's becoming more angrier by the week, and things do get ripped up a lot on camera in front of you with tactics and everything. So, Peter, take care the rest of the week, but I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you very much, man. See you later.
So that was PD Proudlock. Next, we have Dave Harrison coming in. Good evening, Dave.
Hi, Paul. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. How's yourself?
Canny. Until I start thinking about Newcastle, and my mood goes down rapidly.
Yeah,
but,
it's not easy, is it?
Yeah, just waiting for lockdown to finish so we can get out and start, enjoying things and meeting all our mates again, which would be good.
Yeah, it'll be nice, definitely. Eric, Paul, I'm a West Ham supporter. You were absolutely right about Steve Bruce. You always say it as it is, and I like that. You run a great show, better than ours, Eric. Thanks very much, Eric. Very, very kind of you. I hope you subscribed, because I will be doing other football shows on here as well. So thank you very much for that comment. That's very kind of you. Dave, like I've asked everybody else, really, what did you think of the game against Villa? And, how big is this game on Saturday coming up against Brighton?
Well, I think the game against Villa was probably one of the worst I've seen for a long time. We only got a little bit of excitement in the last, injury time, really. We never looked as if we're going to score. I mean, no, today, to be fair, it was an unlucky goal. But, we should have been... If you played the right players in the right place, I think we would have been well ahead, and we wouldn't have been panicking at the last minute. I mean, I said at the start there, my heart sank. And then he threw me beer through the telly. I was so angry with it. I wasn't drinking, but you know what I mean. So, and I just got so angry. It was once again with this man and this team. It's look at the end of the day, we should have been 2 or 3 ahead well into that game if we played the right players at the right time. And as for the weekend, I've said for years, that being a Newcastle fan, you are always an optimist, but at the same time, always a pessimist. And there's so many things that are lining up. The stars are lining up. They did the last twice we've gone down under Ashley. Players who, don't seem up for it. Some of them playing the wrong players. I just think it's written that Leeds are going to win on Friday night. We'll draw or get beat on Saturday. We've gotten 3. We've got an international break coming up. There'll be doom and gloom as there has been for the last 18 months. And I think it's too late to sack him. I mean, I never wanted him. I know you said and others have said they hate the man. I've never met him, so I can't hate him. Just the way I'm I'm wild, I guess. I don't hate people I don't know. But
I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that. I just hate him in a footballing sense.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, personally wise, obviously, I don't know the guy. I've never met him myself either. So, you know, he could be the nicest bloke in the world. I'm just when I say hate him, I mean footballing wise. You know, it's just the way he slags the fans off and in the club. Alan's put a comment there saying, in 18 months, what has Steve Bruce improved? Position in the league, improved players, improved commercial revenue, communication between club and fans. It's been a disaster. But John Carver was worse. Billy, what's your thoughts on that? Billy, are you still there?
No. I'm back.
No.
Yes.
So Billy's gone. We do have somebody else. We do have somebody else coming in, and it's Mr. Archer himself. Good evening, Archer.
Right. Yeah, Paul.
Yes, see that beard's coming on well. You've certainly gone all Jeff Hendrick on us again, my man.
Yep.
What was your thoughts on the game at the weekend, Archer?
Oh, it was just like first half was just like it was literally back to square one. Like it seems like it was just more like want to play more defending, but obviously Villa were a bit iffy at times, but obviously when Ollie Watkins scored that goal and it deflected off Clark and it went in, I was like, oh, this is gonna be it. I think I was like, this is gonna be doom and gloom. But then obviously when Jacob Murphy crossed that ball in for Lascelles, I was like, well, this should be some hope. But obviously we've got Brighton at the weekend, and now that is a must win for us, because if we do not get anything out of Brighton, then you look at the remaining fixtures. We've got Spurs, Burnley, West Ham, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Leicester.
Mm-hmm. It's a massive worry. I mean, Ryan, you know, we look at this game before, you know, we have to get 3 points against Brighton because the games after the international break, you know, people are saying, well, we can get 3 points off Burnley. I'm not so sure myself, given that, you know, Burnley are one of these teams that will grind a result out and we can't do that. You know, but we've got to play all the top teams as well. Where is our results coming from and where the goal's going to come from?
Well, I don't know where the goals would come from because he plays our striker out as a left wing, and he brings on our other striker on the last 20 seconds of a game. Guy's an idiot. And the Brighton game, I don't know how that'll go. I feel like that'll just be a drab, boring game. I'm hoping for a 1-0 just to get the grind out of 3 points, because every time it's an away game at the Amex, it's always like some 0-0, like where it's just like no quality whatsoever. Even though we do have quality in our squad, but our manager has no clue how to use them because he leaves people like Jacob Murphy on the bench. To me, him not starting Jacob Murphy and people like Joe Linton over him is like a situation of like Steve Bruce starting Jeff Hendrick over Matty Longstaff or Sean, to me.
Yeah, I mean the only guy I can actually imagine wanting to play is you know, wanting Jeff Hendrick to start is the man in the corner there, Archer. You know, he's trying to look like him and he's trying to, you know, he'd love him to be in the team. Dave, you know, this is a huge game against Brighton, isn't it? I mean, we
absolutely,
you know, we're trying to avoid looking too far ahead, certainly after the international break, and that's going to be the biggest worry for all Newcastle fans is where these results are coming from after the international break. But you know, as well as getting the 3 points at Brighton, it would just give us a huge lift as you know, for the players, the fans, just to know that we've actually won a game and we have a chance of trying to, at least to build on that after the international break. But on the flip side of that, a lot of fans are saying they want us to lose so that Bruce gets the sack.
You're absolutely right. I mean, from my point of view, at this time of the season, it's too late. We've seen that when the last twice we've gone down, bringing people in at the last minute. You know, Rafa and Shearer never had a chance. I mean, Shearer even more so. I mean, I was reading something today. Statistically, Shearer's the worst manager we've had. I mean, come on, you only had 10 games or 8 games, bless him. Whatever, mate.
Yeah.
That's for another night. But the two things from my point of view is there's no point in sacking him now. I want shot. I never wanted him in the first place, like you. His football tactics are just rubbish. Want shot of him. But a win not only gives you 3 points, it also gives you a fortnight where you're going, we've got this, come on lads, we're going. If you get beat, you've got a fortnight where you're going, oh my God, let's see, doom and bloody gloom. And I do think we'll get something at Bury, a bit of thingy. Even if we just get a point, that'll be good. But as Ryan said earlier on, some of the games we've got, Liverpool, Arsenal, etc., we're going to get out of them. The only thing you've got to hope is that the teams who are set fair in mid-table are just above the one going to get into Europe. You know, this has been a really odd, horrible season, been a horrible year. They might just think, why bother? But from my point of view, what I want to do is, we can argue all later, but what I want to see, Jordy's in the shadow. I want to see the Longstaffs, and I want to see Dummett playing. I want to see, Big Andy up front, Cause and Bother, Murphy there. Newcastle fan, come on. These guys are going to bleed black and white. You want them to play. And the likes, one or two of them, Hendricks, one of them, I think there's a decent little player in there, but he's not bothered. And, names are going. The other striker we've got, Dwight Gale, a good player, but a championship player, but nevertheless he knows where the goals are. But if Bruce, plays him out on the left, as Ryan said, what's the point of that? It's bonkers. You might as well put Joe Linton in at centre half, and play one of the goalkeepers up front. I mean, if you're going to be stupid and mess people about. But I just can't see again. My heart says we're going to do it. We're going to be safe. By a skin of our teeth, my head saying, "Oh, Dave, don't be daft. We've gone." And I think, as you said earlier on, when I was just waiting there to come in, I think you said one of the comments was, "It'll be a long, cold, dark day in hell before we're back," because with potentially 12 players going in the close season, those out of contract and those who just say, "I'm not playing Championship football," and actually won't spend any money, and he's the man who's caused the bother. He's dragged right down to the depths of despair. We're just not going to come back straight away. If we do, it'll be an absolute miracle.
It will be, definitely. John says if we play 4-2-3-1 with Big Andy up front, we have a great chance. If it's the same shit 4-3-3 with Gale out wide, there's no point, we will lose. I happen to agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also agree with you, Dave, when you talk about and I'm sure the other guys on will as well. I mean, if we want the players who are going to be committed to the cause, Ryan, if we play players like Dummett, we play Murphy, Andy Carroll, the Longstaffs, players that support the club, players that bleed black and white. Those are who we need in the team in the relegation fight that we know are going to give 110%. And we'll also bollock the other players if they don't pull the weight, because this is their club and they don't want to see their club going down to the Championship again.
I want that, and that's the only thing that can happen, because Bruce isn't the guy to inspire anyone out of relegation fight. So our only option is to have people like the Longstaffs, Carroll and Dummett, to actually inspire confidence within our team.
Would you? I mean, we're coming to the close of the show now, so I'm going to ask you anyway. I mean, what formation would you play on Saturday? And can we actually get a result down there?
For me, I tried doing 4-2-3-1 with Dubravka, Manquillo, Lascelles, Clark. I put Jamal Lewis back in.
Right.
Midfield, definitely Isaac Hayden. There's the second part's a bit hard because I don't like. I find John Joe Shelby's got. I think he's done. I don't really rate him anymore. So I'll have to go with. I want Joe Willock, but I want him in number 10. So I think I'd have to put Matty Longstaff there. I'll put Matty Longstaff there. Right wing, right mid, I'd put Jacob Murphy, Joe Willock in the middle, Ryan Fraser left, Andy Carroll up top. That's our best team.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty.
I'm sure
I
most
can't
fans
really.
would
I
agree
can't
with
really
me.
argue with that. The only thing I would pick out is why would you put Jamal Lewis back in instead of Paul Dummett? What would your reasoning be for that?
I just feel like we need, like, if we want to win this game, I feel like we need more attack and more pace and like energy that I feel like Jamal Lewis offers.
Okay. That's fair enough. I mean, the only reason I'm asking that is, I've been very critical of Dummett in the past as well for not getting forward and putting decent crosses in. I think, that's what's...
Last game was actually good from him, I can't lie.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he put some, especially the first half, he put some beautiful crosses in that were just aching for somebody like Andy Carroll. But obviously Steve Bruce couldn't see that, which is a shame. But, I mean... I think Paul Dummett going forward has been always that little sort of chink in his armour, really, that he just hasn't been that sort of fullback that powers forward and whips brilliant balls in, although he did put a few in against Villa. Dave, same question to you, really. I mean, what are you looking at for the Brighton game as a formation? And give us a score prediction.
Yeah, I would agree with most of what Ryan said. I would have Dummett in. I think he's the best defender we have at the club, and I've said that for years. He's come to the end of his time, but I mean, I think he's very good at it. You're absolutely right. He doesn't get forward enough, but it's a case of don't let him score. So I think Dummett will do that. I would like to find a place for Matt Ritchie, but I don't know. I think the formation is absolutely right. Put the big fella up front and just keep whipping the crosses in from everywhere. That's what I would do. I've gone right off John Joe Selby. He was one of my favourite players in the past, but I think he's a passenger there. We cannot afford him.
Yeah.
I think he's in the past he's been absolutely brilliant at times, but this last 18 months he's just been rubbish. I'm sorry, he seems a nice bloke, but I just don't think he should be there. But yeah, I mean, I'd go right. I always go 2-1 to the 2-1 to Toon, as what I always say. My heart will say that, but my head's going to say it's going to be 1-0 either way, and I just don't know. I mean, I pray to God it's 1-0 to us, but I don't have a lot of confidence. I really don't. And the thing is, we said, if Bruce plays players where they should play, if he's going to play, players, and put them in the right place. Don't put them at left back when they're centre forwards. That's what he.
Yeah. I think the thing that worries me at the minute is actually the way Brighton are playing. The football that they're playing at the minute is very, very good.
Very quick.
Very, very quick on the attack. They've been, a lot of pundits have had a go at them this season for not scoring enough goals. Yes, they've struggled to score goals. However, teams struggle to score goals and then they come up against us, and it's complete opposite. But we'll see. Archer, again, same question to you. What formation would you like to see, and what do you think will be the score?
I'd like to see obviously Martin Dubravka at the back. I'll play Manquillo, Clark, Dummett, and possibly obviously either Vichy or Lewis at left back.
Okay.
And then in the middle, I'd like to see either Matty or Sean Longstaff, because I'd like to see them have a chance, because ever since we signed Matty Longstaff in the summer, Steve Bruce has not even given the kid a chance. He's only made one appearance this season, and I think that was against Liverpool, I believe, and he hasn't had a chance whatsoever. He's just been playing for the under 23s. On behalf of that, I'd like to see Joe Willock played in possibly ASM's position. Hayden, I'd like to see Hayden play. And obviously he's going to be playing Joe Linton and possibly Andy Carroll, something like that.
I mean, the thing is about Steve Bruce, you can never second guess the guy. That's the problem. I mean, he just surprises her every time he selects a team. Give us a score, Archer.
I'm going to be positive, lads. Now, I'd like to see Newcastle 2, Brighton 1.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very, very close game. There's no doubt about it. That's it for this week. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Ryan, thanks for coming on again all the way from Canada. Hopefully see you next Tuesday on the show, mate. Obviously, we'll keep you on for a bit longer next week as well, because obviously coming over from Canada, it's like to get your views, because you don't get to say as much as the other ones. So we'll catch you again next week. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks.
See you. Take care. Dave, thanks very much for joining us. It's been very good to get yours, friend. Do come back on next Tuesday night again, will you? Get your thoughts on the Brighton game.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I tend to have a probably don't know, I do all trees of sport, and I sometimes have a conference call before, so that's why I joined a bit late. But if it's
all right.
if it's not on next week, I'll be in. All being well. Yeah.
Right, brilliant. Take care. Stay safe out there, Dave. Cheers. Archer, thanks again for coming on, buddy. Hopefully 3 points at the weekend, and we'll catch up with you on the show next week as well.
Right, catch you later.
Cheers, pal. So there we go. That was the fan forum for this weekend. Just a quick thing before we go. Obviously, on the Four Horsemen of the Toon Show, we are running a competition at the moment for an Alan Shearer Newcastle United shirt, which is on the screen now. It's brand new. It's size XL, but obviously, if you want to frame it or something like that, it was donated to me by Paul, one of my subscribers, very kindly. It does have Shearer 9 on the back as well. Now we are going through PayPal with this. My PayPal address is on the screen now. All you need to do is go to the PayPal website, and where it says send money, just press that and go through the friends and family option. Very important. Go through friends and family. It's £5 to enter. So if you pay a £5, your name goes in the hat once. If you pay a tenner, then twice, £15. You get 3 entries into the hat. This is going on for the next 2 weeks. We'll be making the draw live on the Four Horsemen show 2 weeks yesterday. So it's somebody will win it, and it'll be drawn live on the show. All proceeds for this are going to my charity, Parkinson's UK. So it's a charity very close to my heart. So please do take part in this competition. Like I say, any problems, let me know on Twitter. Just send me a message on Twitter. But all you need to do is PayPal and send money, and then go to that email address. Type that email address in. Make sure it's to friends and family. And as I say, donate 5, 10, 15, whatever you want to do. But accumulations of £5, and then you get your name in the hat once, twice, 3 times, whatever it may be. And as I say, all the donations will be going to Parkinson's UK. It's a very nice shirt. It's here waiting for the winner. So get donating if you can, guys. Obviously, it's up to you whether you take part in it or not. I'm certainly not going to look badly on you if you don't. I know times are very, very tough at the minute. Now, also with coming up shows, I'm going to be recording my preview of the game at the weekend. I'm going to probably record that tomorrow, so that should be coming out on the channel either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm back live again on Thursday night with Thursday Night Live with Holly Blades. Maybe a few special guests coming on there as well, where we will be really talking about the Brighton game and sort of bigging that game up now as it comes closer and closer, and what a huge game it is. It's absolutely massive. So hopefully, as I say, I'll be doing the fan reaction show straight after the game as well. I'll be putting that on Twitter tomorrow, so you can set a reminder for that as well. And then, of course, the Four Horsemen will be back on Monday night. But it's been a great show. If you do donate through PayPal, guys, make sure in the comments you put Shearer's shirt, just so I know that you've entered the competition and who it is, etc. So it's Shearer's shirt in the comments. But that's it for this week. It's been a fantastic show as usual. Thank you to everybody that's taken part, either coming on the show live or you've made a comment in the live comments. Very kind of everybody to come on again. If you're new to the channel, like I said, do consider subscribing if you've enjoyed what you've seen. Smash the like button, as it does help the channel grow. But in the meantime, guys, I will see you again live on Thursday night, but keep an eye open for my Brighton preview video, which will be coming soon as well. In the meantime, stay safe. Good night. Be strong. Bye.